Hey, welcome everyone to the live stream, Casual Friday. Welcome. My name is Gary Robillard, for those who don't know me. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, and hopefully you'll gain some information as we go through. I've got my co-pilot Jared with me. Hey Jared, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good, Gary. Can't complain. It's Friday. Fridays are always good.
That's right, it's Friday. Friday,
Yep.
Friday. Gotta love that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be talking about some mobility, and we've done a webinar in the past showing kind of a mobility showdown, showing some different applications. And Jared and I were talking the other day about what ACT has been doing with their free version. And they've really upped their game. It was pretty light before, wasn't it, Jared? It was kind of like you had contacts and activities, and that was about it. It was pretty light.
Yeah, I couldn't do too much. Yeah, you could look up your contacts maybe, and if you could log in properly, but there were some issues with the API.
Yeah.
So that made it hard sometimes to log in reliably. But it was pretty basic with just maybe looking up your contacts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was about it. And,
Yeah.
and their company, then their particular information. That's about it on there.
Yeah, and what they did, folks, is they put a new team in charge of the development for this app. And I'll be honest with you, before the new team got in there and started doing things, I wasn't a fan. It was okay, but it was just too lightweight in comparison to some of the other applications that are out there to be able to give you your ACT data on a mobile device. And so we thought we'd do a live stream on this particular product, and I think it's you'll be surprised. I know we definitely were as we started diving into it of what they have been able to do with this. If this is, again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. And then you can click the notification button if you want to get notified when we go live. Sometimes we don't send out an email ahead of time for those who are subscribed. And so if you don't, then maybe that'll help you out. But we appreciate for those who have subscribed to the channel. All right, let's go over to our other screen. And now I'm going to be using my phone here, so let me just pull this up, and I'm going to have to use my cheaters. And now I can't see this. Well, I guess I can see this. It's a little blurry. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to go through the application and show you how it works. It's not a training session. This is more of a, hey, this is what they've changed. They've added a bunch of things, and so it's good for you to be aware of this. This version, as we're going into this version is a free version, so it comes with your ACT subscription. There's a few things we'll tell you about as we're going through that you'll need to know in setting this up. One of the things that this has, you have to be connected to ACT in order for this to work. You can't work offline, so you have to have a connection to ACT. And as I log in, you'll see that you'll need a connection and a couple of other bits of information, which if you decide you want to try this out, you can get a hold of Jared. Jared has some videos, and he's the expert when it comes to mobility. He tests this stuff out, and again, that's why we're doing this live stream today, is because Jared said, hey, they've changed a bunch of stuff in here, so that's all good. We're all over that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, let me just, where is it? There we go. Because you can't see my mouse, I'm going to use this arrow to point where I'm going. And you can see the arrow okay there, Jared?
Yep, looking good. See
All
where
right.
you're navigating either on your phone.
All right, so these are some of the apps that we've used before. We've got Handheld Contact Classic, Handheld Contact API, the ACT Companion, and then Outlook. And there are a couple of others, but they're really not noteworthy to even go into. So I'm just gonna tap on this because you can't see when I'm tapping on it. So I'm gonna tap on the ACT button there for ACT Companion. And it'll bring you to this, actually, let me just close this off. And let's do this again. So we're going to go click on the act. We're going to do it right from scratch. So this brings me in. I've got username. And so this is a demo database. So I'm just going to type in Gary Robillard. And then you'll see you need a password. So for your database, you'll need your username and password. That's the first thing you'll need. Then when you go continue, so I'm just going to click on, I'm going to click on continue here. And it's going to come up, and it's going to have two things you're going to need. You're going to need the URL address that you'll get from Act Connect. So if Act Connect is not configured on your computer or on your server, then you'll need to get your IT person to do this, or reach out to us, and we can help you out with that. But you're going to need this URL address right here to be able to connect. And then the other thing you'll need is the name of the database you're logging into. So those are the other two things you're going to need. So I've already got my Act Connect URL, and I've got the name of the database. I'm going to press the login button over here now, and then it's going to start loading up. All right, and that's how easy it is to log into this. It used to be pretty, well, what would you say, Jared? Pretty finicky before trying to log in. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it won't.
Yeah, it just had some problems. You needed to have everything working properly, and then it just, sometimes just wouldn't connect, and when you couldn't get into your database, but to see all this information.
Yeah.
So it looks like they've just done more development into it and added some more features as well to make it actual, a decent product that you can actually use reliably, which is very good.
And that was the big thing, is the API connection. It uses an API protocol to connect in, and that was a little flaky, and it's a lot better now. Now, having said that, sometimes it'll freeze up on you, and you'll need to close the app down and then log back in again. A little bit of a pain, and it's not. One of the other things that I found is, and Jared, you correct me if I'm wrong, each time you go into this app, you have to go and enter your credentials in. It doesn't save the credentials. I noticed that it does say use my credentials on the main one, where you can just click the toggle, and I know that will take you directly in and save you some time, but you will need to log in each time. This one I'm doing a little bit longer because I'm going into a demo database and not the native one that I'm going into. So you can, if we went back to the login screen, there's a little toggle that you can use your credentials and save them, but you still have to log in. That's correct?
Yeah, from what I've done testing, there's a little sort of circle on the front where you can log in using your credentials, but when you try to do that after you've did it the first time, it a lot of times won't let you in, so you got to kind of just do it from the beginning. It will save the second page where it has your Act Connect website or link, as well as your database name.
Right.
But that's kind of the thing that I've noticed, at least for me. Maybe other people can get that to save properly, but after it does it, it'll save it. You will just have to put in your Act username and password, and then you should be able to get in again.
But it seems to save the credentials and stuff like that, though, right?
It'll save your Act Connect link, and it'll save your database name, which is that's the stuff you're going to forget anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the kind of the weird ones.
Okay, so just be aware of that. That's maybe a con if you're looking at pros and cons. That maybe is a con that you may have to key that in. One of the pros is it's live. When you connect in here, you're live to your Act database. There's no latency of getting data back and forth. It's live. It updates it as you're updating it on here. It's updating it directly into Act. There's no intermediary connection or any of that sort of stuff. So it actually works really well. All right, so let's have a kind of look around. Up at the top here, you can see there's a search button here. It automatically loads into the contact list. Has a little plus down here to do an addition. If I just tap on that right now, it's wanting me to go and put in a new contact. I'm just going to press the X up at the top left-hand side there just to get out of that. So that's what the plus is to add a contact while you're in this screen. And then you've got your search here. So if I wanted to search, I'm just going to type in Betty and just press the return key on my keyboard. That would be, so I'm just going to type in Betty, and then I'm just going to press the return down here, and then it will load in Betty browser. And so that's how quick you can do a search. It's actually fairly decent, and the speed is good. Again, I did mention that you need to connect to this, so either Wi-Fi or cellular, or either one of those will work just fine. But you will need to be connected live to it. All right, so now down you can see we're on Betty's screen here. If I just tap on it, it'll allow me to call, email her directly from here. I can also press on details, and they've got this favorite button all over the place in here. I don't think it's super necessary, but they put it in there so I can tap on that and make her favorite. And then I can also go in here, press call, and it'll dial out if I want. I'm just going to cancel that. I can do an email. There's the email address, and it will use the native dialer or the native email on your device when you go to use that. And then the details just takes you to that contact's record so you can see more information. So let's just go through what we've got here with Betty. I'm just going to scroll down, and you'll see there's the call. If I tap on that, it will ask, do I want to make a call? You don't have access to text unless you go into the details. With the text in here, you have to click on details. I'm just going to go back. So you have to go in here, click on details, and then I can press the text, and then I can send a text out from this device. I'm going to cancel that. I've got if I want to go to the send an email, I just tap on that. I want to go to the website, I can just tap on that. If I want the location of that individual, I can just press on the address. It will actually take me and give me a bit of a view here, and I can scroll up. I can plus in or plus minus on this little window, or if you look right here, you can see this little orange oblong, looks like a stamp or something like that. But you can just click on this little button right here, this huge button. I shouldn't say little button. Just click on that, and that will take you to a map and put a pin where that location is. And if you need directions, you can just do that. And this is all based on your device, whether it's an Android or whether it's an iPhone or an iPad. And I should mention this works on both phones and tablets. So if you have an Android phone or tablet, it'll work on that. If you have a iPhone or iPad, it'll work on that as well. You just have to download the app from the App Store, whether it's on the iPhone or from the Android store, and just download the app. And you would just do a search for Act Companion, and that will pull it up. Download it. It's free, but you'll need all those other protocols: your URL, Act Connect URL, database, username, and password to log in. So up at the top here, if I want to go back, you'll see right up at the top here, I can go back to Act. I'm just going to tap on that. That takes me back into Act. So that's the mapping there. If I scroll down, you'll see in here it's got opportunities, activities, the company that person belongs to, history, notes, groups, and documents. They've added a lot of stuff. Like Jared and I were talking about at the beginning, is that they originally just had contacts and activities, and even the activities weren't that great. But now, because of the new API protocols that they've added, it'll actually pull from multiple areas within an Act database, like opportunities. I can pull up opportunities in here. Activities, it already had that. Here's a big one, though, is companies. So if I tap on the companies, you can see here the little plus allows you to add an activity, which we'll get to in a sec. And you'll see here that this little link here will take me to companies. So I'm just going to tap on that. actually tap on the company, not on the hyperlink. So if I go to the company and I scroll up, you can see all of the contacts here that are listed, just like as if you're in the ACT database. These are the people that belong to CH Tech 1. And then if I wanted to go down to Melissa Pierce, for an example, I can just tap on her name. That takes me to her record. If I press the back button up at the top right-hand side there, that will take me back to the company record. And this is all new. So this actually brings it up a notch from a light application to probably a medium application. So it's so close now to its contenders, handheld contact, classic, and API, that is actually a very decent application. Your thoughts, Jared?
Yeah, it's they definitely made it a good bit better now, with kind of just all sorts of features, make it just a little more streamlined, be able to add information in on the contact record, be able to go into the activity part of it, and even look at part of your calendar. It has a lot of features that is pretty good for a free version, and live too, which was also an important feature. You can get right up to date information, and you don't have to wait to sync. You just have to have an internet connection and log in, and it'll work.
Yeah, the big thing that we found, Jared, with some of the handheld contact users is that they everything worked really well, but sometimes those activities didn't come over. And when we go and do a live stream on those applications, we'll talk about that in more detail, where you don't have this problem here because you're live. And this is a real big pro for this, is because you're live, it's accessing your calendar right now. So there's no, I'm missing activities because it didn't get pulled over. There is no syncing here, none. It's direct. Where other applications, there's always some sort of updating or syncing back and forth because they either cache the information so that you can be offline, which is a pro for some of the other ones. But this is kind of handy. And there's nothing wrong of having both applications, using this because it's free, and even having another one like handheld if you wanted to. So I'm just going to scroll down, but I just want to show you, you'll see here the little plus here. So if I wanted to add an activity for the contact, you're going to go to the contacts record, go to the activity, I'm going to press the plus, and it's going to load up, and I can create an activity right from here. So I'll just put in here test and details. If I wanted to type details, they only have a little window. It's funny how the regarding up at the top there is really huge, and then the details are really small. I mean, it's got all the edit features, but you could put in here, type in, what you wanted to talk about or what you're going to talk about. Down at the bottom left right-hand corner, if you haven't used this on any of your mobile devices for capturing details or what have you, you're missing out. This little mic and the Android's got something similar. Just press this and then dictate. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is a great little application, period. And that's how simple and easy it is to use. And then you can just go down here. You can choose what type it is. It's going to be a meeting. It's going to be, you pick the date. Let's just choose, there we are. Let's use the 8th. And for 1 hour, location, you could type that in if you wanted to. And then once you've got it all down, just press save up at the top right-hand corner, back up here. And now that activity is in the ACT database. For those who are in the office, it's already in there. So you don't have to worry about somebody scheduling something for you and having it duplicate or what have you. As soon as you press save, it's done. And if they went to look to book you in an appointment for whatever reason, it's already blocked off. So let's just go back. And so that's how easy it is. And then we're going to scroll down. So you can see the activity for Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. It just doesn't give the actual date, but it is Wednesday. And then I can add a history. So if I just come out of a client's location, I can press the plus sign there and add the location. You'll see anytime there's data in there, you'll see that there's, even on the activity now, there was only a plus there before. Now there's some ellipses. And the ellipses, when you see that, that is just a filter. You can tap on that, and it allows you to filter through different types of activity types or history types or what have you. So it's pretty simple and easy to use. You can add in, you can click on groups if you want to see groups or who's the groups that this person is connected to. And it even has documents. Do I have a document? I don't have a document. I don't have anything to... I have
Oh, you
nothing.
can attach pictures and also
Yeah,
on
so...
your phone you can attach, you could even...
Yeah.
Anything on your phone you can attach kind of to it if you wanted to attach something specific. Which
Yeah,
is
if you
cool.
Yeah, if you press the plus, you can take a photo. So if there's a document, you can take a picture of that photo, or you can go to your library and pull whatever. Is that what you're saying, Jared?
Yeah, you can just attach documents on the phone, which a lot of mobile stuff will let you attach stuff on the record that way, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, and if you're using File Manager, it doesn't connect to File Manager. It'll attach it into the contacts record. I personally wouldn't use this very much unless I'm out in the field and I need to take a picture. Depending upon my job description, maybe I'm doing hail damage and I want to take some pictures and have them attached, and then I can move them around later. There's a lot of different ways. You'll also see here that there's a little pencil. Anytime you see a pencil, that means you can edit. So I'm going to just tap on this, and now I'm actually on Betty's record, and I can go in and update a phone number, an address, or what have you, and then press save once I've made an edit. I'm just going to X out of that. So that's how simple and easy it is to go in and add stuff. And because they've allowed you to have access to groups and documents, not just notes and histories, and the company, that's a big one, to be able to go in and say, okay, I'm going to call Allison, and I can just jump back and forth between that. I'm really quite impressed. So let's just go back out, and we're going to press the X up here to, if you want to filter this back out, just press the X there. That'll take Betty out, and then it'll bring you back to your database again, or to the contacts. Now, up on the top left-hand side, you're going to see here, for those of you who may not know, anytime you see three lines like that, that means menu. For those of you who are probably keeners on the cell phone, you probably know that already, but if you haven't, if you're used to using just a computer for most of your stuff, you may not know what that is. And so that is that's a menu. So that's how you would access menu, and just tap on that, and it'll bring up a list on the left hand side, and that will give you access to other things in here. So the welcome thing, that does absolutely nothing. It just says welcome. The one below that, hot leads. The hot leads come from, if you're using Act Marketing Automation. Now, not if you're just using the Act Marketing Automation, but you've got to have it configured to be able to track your leads, and based on your recipients for your emails, and based on how they interact with your emails, you can score them. Now, this isn't with the basic version of Act Marketing Automation. This is with one of the higher ups. And but what it would do is track it in and score them and give them a rating based on, and you set up the rating score that you want, and it'll actually track them and flag them. And so this is kind of a handy thing to have as well, to be able to see your hot leads, but you do need to set that up. Have you used that, Jared?
The hot leads?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, on me, it says it has to connect with the marketing automation, so I don't have that particular thing set up on mine. But
yeah,
if you had it on there, I imagine it would populate that there for you. That
yeah,
which is good for sales.
Yeah, and how that works is, you, like Jared said, you need to have it configured. So when you're having Marketing Automation, it by default sets it up for the administrators, but it does not for everybody else. They have to manually be set up, and there's certain permissions on different components like this. Now the next one down is search. We've already kind of done that, where you just press the search up on the top, key in. We'll do Betty again. and press return. And it's looking for Betty. A little slower than I expected. This may be one of those times when it's gonna... Interesting. Well, we won't worry about that. Let's just go back to our menu item here. But that search should do the exact same search. I think it's taking a little bit longer because it's not just searching. I know why that's slow. It's not just searching contacts. It's searching the whole database. It's looking for notes, histories, activities. It's doing a full search. And so it would take a little bit longer. And well, I'm impatient, so we'll just pass on that for now. But that is like a global search, not searching a specific area. So if I wanted to do a search on a specific area like contacts, I can do that. So let's just go down to activities now, right here. Tap on that. And now it's going to give you a list of activities. And in this demo database, there's 6 activities. And if you want to drill down, you just tap on the activity. Maybe not. Oh, there it is. I didn't see it pop down. And then it's got details down at the bottom there. And then you tap on the details and it loads it up, and then you can see that. I'm going to go back. So when I tapped on it, I just didn't notice that it dropped down to have access to the details. You do have a plus button here too to create an activity. I'm canceling out of this. I don't recommend you do it from there, because being able to go and hunt for the contact, it's very arduous. It takes a bunch of steps. You're a lot better off finding the contact and creating the activity on the contact's record, as opposed to being in the calendar and creating an activity and then going and finding the contact. We just found it a lot more steps. And if you hear that, Jared, that's Jared breathing in the background.
Whoops, sorry about that.
That's okay.
To mute myself, I didn't do heavy breathing there.
He's close to the mic there. And so, yeah, I recommend creating activities from the contact record and not from the activities. Now, one of the things Jared mentioned, which is really new, is they've added this calendar feature in here. And Jared, you want to comment on, because this is a big step, isn't it? Going from the activity list over to the calendar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I mean, before you couldn't access calendar at all and see what you were doing the day with the Act Companion, and nothing reliably that you could do. And now you can see everything that you got going on that day in the calendar view. You can also swipe right to go to the next day to see what you're going on. Swipe back. You can also select the date range and pick like a day that you had like a month ago and see what you did that day, and it'll show up in the calendar view under the activities, which is cool.
The only thing that we found, right, is when you swipe, it doesn't update right here. It still says today, so it doesn't change the date. So I don't know if that's a bug. I'm assuming it is. So when you swipe, it doesn't seem to grab it. And I don't have any activities on either side of this particular one. So if you click on the little arrow right here and then pop down and go click on the month, so that would be the middle one here. Oh, it's not showing up. Hang on. Yeah, right here. If you click on the middle one there, that'll take you to the month. So if I wanted to go to the 8th, for example, you can see Friday the 3rd is in red, meaning that's the date that we're on. And then you see the little dot means there's activities on that day. So if you look at the 8th there, it's also got a dot. And if I tap on that, that will take me to that record. And I've got test in there. And you'll see that it's updated right here. It's actually got month June. It doesn't give the exact date, like it's what day of the month it is. But you've just tapped on that date, and so you already know that. So that's so just little things like that. Okay, it's not 100%, but boy, it's pretty darn close. So just swiping, just remember that that's not going to be exactly the same, but pretty darn close. And then you can see also here is history. And I've actually not tried that, but let's just see. Okay, let's not take off that. Put on history. It doesn't seem to really... Oh, history might probably show up old stuff. Take off the activities, click on the history. We've not cleared anything, so it's not showing up. But if we cleared an activity, then that would show up. And you can clear activities in here too, just by tapping on. So if I take this test one, load it up, and then all I have to do is right at the bottom here, it's kind of a light gray, so it's a little, it does not right in your face, and you can just go clear activity, and then I could type some details in if I want to type or dictate. This is just a test. Press confirm, and that activity is done. Let's go back to the calendar, and if I unselect activities and go to history, you'll see that the test was completed. So fairly easy to use, and you can see there the histories are a little bit lighter blue, and then I can just take off the histories and show that. So the calendar, pretty darn powerful. I'm really impressed with this. Let's click on the menu item again, and then we've got histories. This just shows a list of histories. So this would be like the histories you'd see in the main act application, where you click on the history tab on the nav bar. You've got contacts. Obviously, that's what the default is when you first load up. You've got insights. I would never use that in here, but maybe you would. I haven't spent a lot of time with this, but it will show up some key insights, and you've got filters there, and I'm not going to spend any time on here, but it will show you some insight. I'd rather do that on my regular machine. And then we have opportunities, and this is a big one for those of you who are using opportunities. You do have access in here to all of your opportunities, and you can just tap on it, and then you can go into details, and it will load up that opportunity. And so you can create opportunities, clear close opportunities, and do that right inside of your mobile device. So they've really beefed this up. Okay, it's not going back. And then here's another one, which is the companies. So when you load up the companies, if I go to, let's see, CH Tech 1 and just tap on that and go to details, it will take me to the company record, and you can see all of the contacts that are linked to that company. And then proximity search, tap on proximity search. It's actually going to show you from where you're at, and it's going to do a circle around there. There is a filter up at the top right hand corner. You can choose a radius of how wide you want to go. So if you were in downtown, in our case downtown Calgary, and I wanted to say, oh, okay, I want to see who's close to me, because I'm going to do is just drop in. I could say, okay, give me a 2-mile radius or 10-mile radius. I could do it in miles or kilometers, or I could even do a postal code search, and it will actually it'll actually find that. So kind of a cool little thing that you can mess around with. Here's another big one that they added to this, which is groups. You could never access groups before. So now if I wanted to find all of customers US, I can just tap on this. I can go to details, and it's going to bring me up all the contacts that are in that particular group. And then I can just tap on that contact and go directly to that contact. So they've done a marvelous job here. And then you have in here notifications, you've got favorites, and that's where you're checking off the little stars on the favorites. And then you've got log out to log out, and then you've got some settings that you can go into. Language settings, notification settings, user configuration settings. I'm not going to go into that. I'll let you kind of mess around with that if you decide to play with this. But it's a pretty full-featured application. I don't know about you, Jared, but I'm quite impressed with what they've done with this. Okay, and here's one of those times it's froze up on me. I don't know if it fails because because it got a blip in the connection, or what? But it's kind of froze on me here. Any comments, Jared? So this just as I'm doing, Jared's going to comment on it. I'm just going to close this off and come back in.
Yeah, they've really done a little more updating of the app, and it's something that you can actually use reliably, and that's something that can be something you can use in your everyday. Mostly when you're out and about. Now that we have, things are returning more back to normal since the pandemic, people are going to be on the road a lot more, so you're going to want to be able to check to see your appointments in the calendar, and being able to just see that day is kind of all you're going to be able to need to, well, all you'll need, and then you can look at it. You can also, text right out from your mobile app now, and it'll record the history. You can email out from your phone, and it'll record the history, and that's all good to have it all backing up to your ACT database.
Yeah.
So you have all that information you need, and especially if you're going to go to appointment 2 and you want to review, what have I done with this client last week? You press the history button. You can just or you can go to the contact and go into their history record and just scroll up and just see kind of what you did.
Yeah.
Before you go. And if you're on the road and you want to go visit a client, you can pull up their map, and it'll just click the link in the ACT companion link, and then it'll launch your whatever GPS system you have in your phone, and then you can get there. So it's kind of a good tool, and it's free. It just kind of takes a little bit just to get it set up, but it's something that you can use on those times when you're going to be out of the office for a few days or whatnot, and want something that you can look at before you go into your appointments or meetings when you're on the road.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I don't know about you, Jared, but now that with all these features that they've added to this, all of the stuff that they've put into this, I would rate this before like a 1 out of 5. I'm rating this as a 4 out of 5 right now. A few little things but I would myself rate this about a 4 out of 5. What would you rate this product?
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna go out of 5, yeah, I'd probably go like a 3.5 or a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
In terms of advantages it has over the other mobile applications, it's live, so you don't have to sync, and usually that's kind of can be a problem if it's not syncing with the other mobile applications, the paid mobile applications. This one, all you got to do is if you can log in, you got an internet connection, you'll get the up-to-date latest information from your ACT database, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
The syncing is not involved, and you just uses the internet, which is great.
Yeah, totally agree.
For free, pretty good too. Like if you're not on the road all the time, you just sometimes of the year, this is probably going to be a better option even than some of the other ones, because that's all you're going to need.
Yeah,
it's just something you'll use now and again. If you're on the road all the time, quite a bit, you may want to, and you may want to get paid to get the handheld contact subscription, as that is a little bit more better functionality and stuff for inputting a lot of information and using it all the time.
Yeah, and being offline and stuff as well. So I think Jared and I concur. It's a 3.5 to a 4 as far as a rating. Would I use it? Absolutely. Now that I've seen all of the extra stuff that they've added to this, I think I'm going to circle back around and start using this and connect it to my main database. I've been using the handheld contact API, but one of the things that I run into a few times is sometimes the calendars don't sync properly, and we'll talk about that. All of these have pros and cons. The only con with this one, there's a few little things that don't maybe are bugs, but for the most part, it's pretty good. The only one con is that you could look at it as a con or a pro, and that is, okay, you have to be live. And so if you're needing to be in a place where you don't have a connection, which is probably not that often, so it's probably more of a pro than a con, especially being not having to sync and everything. So anyways, I think we'll wrap this up. Thanks for attending. Hopefully this has been of benefit for you. Again, if you need to, you want to give this a try, there's a few little protocols. You can always reach out to Jared at customer service at corelogix.ca, and he can give you some instruction if you need it. But it's really not that hard. There's just 4 pieces of information you need to connect up and make sure that the ACT connect link is installed on the server or where the main database is located, and from there you're off to the races. So hopefully this has been of benefit. I sure appreciate you guys attending. Leave any comments that you want to have down, or questions down in the comments area below. And don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this particular video, click a like. And click the notification if you want to get reminded when we go live, because sometimes we don't send out an email ahead of time and we just go live, and you may want to be aware of that's happening. Anyways, I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks, Jared, for co-piloting it today. And again, you're far more up on this than I am, because you're helping clients out a lot more. So hopefully everybody has a great weekend. Enjoy the weather, and we'll catch you next Friday. Have a great one. Thanks, Jared.
Thanks, Gary.